Alright guys, thanks for tuning in today. We're going to cover setting up a server. On this one we're using a Dell PowerEdge server. And we're going to set up Windows Server 22 and a Hyper-V with a DC for the domain controller and a file share. Alright, so we're going to start off by going to the Lifecycle Controller here. We'll fast forward through all these blank screens. Alright, we're going to go ahead and select our language. Click Next. Alright, here we're going to change our Lifecycle Controller to DHCP so it'll grab an IP when it comes up on the network. Once it goes through the screen, you can click back and catch the IP there. It's going to default with a root for username, and then you'll need to set a password here. And then we're going to click Next. Click Yes to confirm, and then OK. Alright, here we're clicking Finish, and then we're going to go ahead and do Configure RAID. Alright, here so we can see our perk card, we're going to go ahead and click Next here. And then on this instance, we're setting up a RAID 5. So it'll be 3 disk with a hot spare. So we're going to select all and then uncheck the last disk. Alright, here you give your virtual disk a name. I just usually call it data. Click Next. And then we'll click Finish and Yes to acknowledge that it's going to wipe the data. Alright, here we're going to click OK. RAID is finished. And then now we're going to go over and get the latest firmware. We'll select the Dell website because we don't have a disk for this. Go ahead and click Yes here. And then click Yes again. For this instance, we're going to select all. And then we're going to apply. Firmware takes forever, so make sure you don't turn it off at this point. Don't give up, just be patient. Once the firmware completes, we're going to go ahead and put in our bootable USB drive, and we're going to press F11 on this particular server, and we're going to select a boot from the USB drive. It's going to be a one-shot UEFI boot menu. So here we're going to select our disk, and then hit enter or finish. Alright, go ahead and select your language and hit next, and then install now. I always do a don't have a product key just to get through the install. We're going to do a standard desktop experience so we don't have command prompt for everything. Set terms and agreement. And then we're going to do a custom install and select drive 0, which was our virtual drive, and click install. At this point, the install is completed, and it's going to go ahead and reboot. And when this reboots here, it should automatically come up. It should not need a keystroke to bring it up. Alright, first thing it's going to ask you for is to set an administrator password, so go ahead and type that in here. Alright, so we come up to a desktop, go ahead and hit a Control-Alt-Delete to log in. Go ahead and give it that administrator password you just set. Alright, this is a good time for a break. Go make some coffee while this is waiting. And then we're going to check our network settings. Go ahead and hit yes to make it discoverable. Then we're going to wait on Server Manager. Alright, now we're going to set the date and time so that we're in the correct time zone. And then sync it for NTP time. Alright, now we're going to add and remove roles. And we're going to add Hyper-V here. Add features, go ahead and take the defaults, click next, and then scroll down to the bottom here. If you're running a local Windows Server backup, this is when you're going to select it. Go ahead and hit next again. Let it choose the embedded NIC for Hyper-V, and then I changed these down to C Hyper-V on both of these locations just to make it easier for attack to find it. Alright, hit next, allow it to restart, go ahead and yes to that, and then click install. Take a minute to hit the like button, subscribe, and leave us a comment. Let us know how we're doing here. This helps us make more videos and helps out the channel. Alright, here it's letting you know that Hyper-V install has completed successfully. Here we're closing the window and going to take care of renaming the host server. So we'll go computer name in the search bar. And then rename this PC under advanced. Go ahead and hit change. And give this a name of whatever you want the server host to be. And then click OK. Go ahead and click OK and close, and then it's going to want to restart. So go ahead and do a restart now. Alright, magically we've rebooted here. We're going to let the server manager catch its inventory real quick. And we're going to go ahead and launch the Hyper-V. Alright, now that we're in Hyper-V, we're going to go ahead and click New for new VM. Alright, go ahead and click Next here. And then give your Hyper-V virtual machine a name. For UEFI machines and non-legacy machines, you're going to always use generation 2. And then click next. 1024 times the number of gigabytes that you want to use for memory is how you calculate your RAM. We're using 8192 here for 8 gigabytes. We're going to go ahead and select the network connection for that virtual switch and hit next. And then for a domain controller, you always want to use at least 500 gigabytes. Hit next. Install operating system next. And then we'll go ahead and do new virtual machine and repeat the process for the file share. So here we're looking at our C drive to see how large this is. So we're going to take that, subtract 500 for the host and 500 for the DC, and then we'll use the remaining here for the file share. Go ahead and hit next, install operating system later. And then now you've got 2 usable VMs. Select one, right click, go to settings, add a DVD drive, and then select your image file here. So this is a ISO of your Windows installation instance and not from the USB drive. And then go ahead and hit apply. You always want automatic startup to start automatically for a domain controller, and usually the same for a file share. And then you got to go up to your boot order and move your DVD drive to the top so that it'll boot from there. And then you repeat the process for the file share. Alright, here we're going to double click the VM to engage the console, and we're going to hit start. And then once this comes up, we're going to click the screen and then select a key to call it to boot from the ISO. And we'll go ahead and do an install now. Go ahead and repeat the same process. I don't have a product key. Select desktop experience and then hit next. Agree to terms and conditions and hit next. Select the disk drive and hit next one more time. All right, here it's going to be complete. It's going to go ahead and auto restart. All right, here we're going to repeat the same process with the file share and let it complete its installation the same fashion. Then once this configures and finishes, you'll go ahead and set up your DC and file share as you would normally do in any environment. And remember to write down your passwords until you're ready to change them. Thanks for taking the setup journey with us today for Windows Server 22 with a Hyper-V VM and 2 virtual machines.